This atmospheric landscape shares its name with the Isle made famous in the legends of King Arthur. Now, there's not much chance of me spotting the Lady of the Lake today, but people do come here from far and wide in the hope of catching a glimpse of something special. Find out where I am in just a few moments. Today's property search is all about shifting priorities.
You've always got to compromise when buying a place.
You can't believe how much I love it when I hear people say, you've always got to compromise.
It's the kind of guy I am.
And you have. So will any of our properties fulfil our house hunters' dreams? Nice views, yes, good sized garden.
Nice views, good garden, yeah, plenty of space.
Could you imagine living here?
I think so.
Today I'm in Somerset and these are the Avalon Marshes near Glastonbury. Over 100 species of birds have been spotted here, including the elusive bittern. And they're also home to one of the largest reed beds in the country. As well as being a thriving wildlife habitat, this place is also embedded in the story of our past. Prehistoric settlements dating back 6,500 years have been found here. And these captivating wetlands aren't the only gem that this county has to offer. Somerset is a county in the southwest of England, with boundaries little altered since the Middle Ages. Its coastline faces Wales across the Bristol Channel, whilst it borders 5 counties, including Devon and Dorset. The diverse coastline includes the seaside resort of Burnham-on-Sea, popular during Victorian times due to its sandy beach. But the shifting banks and flats here are less popular with sailors, and there are said to have been many shipwrecks, particularly at Gore Sands. Interesting geological features continue inland, with Britain's biggest gorge at Cheddar, where the cliffs rise up to 450 feet above sea level. Along with its natural landscapes, the county also features historic architecture. The ruins of the abbey at Glastonbury date to medieval times, whilst the nearby St Michael's Tower, atop Glastonbury Tor, is all that survives of the 14th century church, demolished during the 16th century dissolution of the monasteries. The area is even considered to be the legendary site of King Arthur's tomb. So with its combination of stunning geography, wonderful wildlife and legendary landscapes, it's no surprise that Somerset is a popular county to plan an escape to. Broadly speaking, the average price of a detached property here in Somerset reflects the national figure of £290,000. However, the northern parts of the county do tend to be more expensive because they're closer to cities like Bath and Bristol and have good access to the coast and also the rest of the country. If you want more for your money, then head south towards the borders of Dorset and Devon. The larger, more sought-after villages will carry a small premium, but smaller ones are more affordable and still close to everything you need. So where are today's couple looking to call home? Let's meet them and find out. Today's house hunters are Mark and Sue, a husband and wife from Bow in London's East End. Mark has recently retired from banking and Sue is slowly scaling back her insurance job in the city. But it was in the school playground more than 30 years ago where they first got together.
We actually met in the sixth form at school. We were mates for a while before we started going out. I think the turning point was one day we were playing football in the playground and I sprained my ankle.
Yeah. I came to the rescue.
Yeah. Our eyes met across a crowded football pitch.
Home for the last 18 years has been a 2-bedroom flat in a converted match factory. It's somewhere that has strong connections for these born and bred EastEnders.
We both had families that worked in the match factory when it was a match factory back in the early 1900s. My family were all from around here as well.
But despite their roots in the area, the couple feel the time is right to move on.
I didn't think either of us would move out of East London, let alone London.
Since we got the Olympics awarded, it's now become such a trendy place to live. It's changed enormously. The amount of building work that's going on is unbelievable. Each month that goes by, I think we find more reasons to want to move than to want to stay.
And when it comes to making the move to more rural surroundings, Mark and Sue have got one particular place in mind.
Where we're looking to move is around South Somerset, so on the border of North Dorset and East Devon.
There's more rural areas there than there are elsewhere, which is obviously what we're after.
Just because of the open space, also looking at sort of the neighbouring areas, they seem to get better value for money in that part of the country in South Somerset. When we move out, we'll have more time, so you can start looking at other hobbies, whether it be cider making, beer making,
Jam making.
yeah.
Chutneys. One of the things I really feel like I need is a garden.
We might even end up getting some chickens, so we'll have sort of fresh eggs all the time, start growing your own vegetables.
But most of all, it's about leaving behind the busy city streets for the peace of a countrified backdrop.
We just both want a quieter lifestyle and just spend more time exploring sort of the countryside.
And just sitting outside, looking at the stars and things like that you can't do in the city.
Mark and Sue are looking to move to the south of the county of Somerset, anywhere below Yeovil, but would also consider neighbouring regions of Dorset or Devon. But before I show them some of the properties on offer, I'm meeting them in their Somerset search area to hear more about the country home they're hoping to find.
Morning, you two.
Morning.
Morning.
Welcome to Somerset.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What are you looking for from your home down here?
Sort of 3-bedroom, detached, quiet village with a pub and a local shop, hopefully. Bigger kitchen and bigger garden.
Yeah, reasonable sized garden, because I think not having had one for 18 years, we'd like to get into it and maybe, you know, have a few fruit trees and grow a bit of veg, that type of thing.
What about when you pull up outside the house? What do you envisage seeing? What do you want it to look like?
It'd be nice to have somewhere when you do get there, you look and you think, oh, that's lovely, but whether it's because it's really old or it's just a bit quirky or, you know, just different, I don't know. We're not really too fixated on any specific style or anything.
No, something with a bit of character would be nice. We're quite open to it being thatched or not thatched. We really don't mind either. So.
Well, it's good. You're giving me a lot to work with. So you're open to things, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's about the house feeling right, less than what it looks like or even where it is. It's just about it feeling right for you too.
Yeah.
It's more about the location, actually,
Yeah,
as in
the
feel of the village and the setting of the house. You know, if we could have some nice views, that would be fantastic. And obviously, you're stuck with the views and you're stuck with the village. The house you can play around with.
Now, remind me of the budget that we've got for this search.
Our budget's 450,000 top limit. I mean, ideally, we'd like to spend a little bit less, around more like the 400. We don't have a deadline. We're not panic buying. We're just going to wait until we get the thing we really want.
I'm pleased to say we've got some very exciting properties to show you.
Good.
Excellent.
Are you ready?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Come on.
Let's go.
For a maximum budget of £450,000, Mark and Sue would like a detached property with 3 bedrooms. They're open to new or old houses, but would like something with character. Location is key and should offer a village community and country views. And after 18 years without one, they'd really like a garden. We've got a great selection of properties to tempt them with, and at each I'll be asking them to guess the price before I reveal it. The final offering, of course, is our mystery house, where our couple's search may take a surprising turn. Our property search is taking us to the outskirts of the market town of Yeovil and a 5-minute drive from the large village of West Coker. Facilities in West Coker include a butcher's and post office and a garage with a shop. There's a choice of places to eat and drink with 2 inns, a wine bar and a hotel bar and brasserie. Many of the picturesque houses in the village are built from hamstone, a local Jurassic limestone with a distinctive honey colour. Our property is located a short drive from here in a quiet cul-de-sac on the western edges of Yeovil.
What's your first thoughts?
Impressed.
Yeah, it's a nice looking
Yeah.
house.
Looks lovely.
Looks
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
It does. It looks like it's got a lot of character.
Yeah.
It's all really done really nicely.
Yeah.
And it's done really nicely inside. So let's take a look and just see the space that's on offer.
Yeah.
Is something
Okay.
that's going to really appeal to the two of you coming from a two-bedroom flat in London. Come on.
This L-shaped detached home was built in 1975 using reconstituted stone and has character features like mullion windows. The front door leads into the hallway from which all the rooms fan off.
So straight into a good-sized entrance hall. And then, as you'd expect from those impressions you got outside, a nice big kitchen.
That's lovely. It
Very
really
nice.
is.
Yeah, lovely, very nice.
It's got some lovely old touches.
How does it compare for size with your current kitchen?
It is about 6 times as big.
And it's made even bigger, of course, by this extension at the back. So let's go and take a look at that. It's a lovely space. So this was added on just to really open up the kitchen space.
Cool.
That lovely high ceiling, and it looks out all the way on 3 sides round onto the garden.
It's really lovely. I could imagine sitting in here, and that's what we want really, somewhere where we can do different things but be in the same room, that kitchen and this area.
Yeah, it flows.
We'd be in here the
nicely,
whole
doesn't
time,
it?
wouldn't we?
Yeah.
But this actually isn't the only living space. There's another cosy sitting room, so follow me.
A great reaction to the kitchen and dining space, to the side of which we also find a downstairs cloakroom and useful utility room. Then that additional reception room lies back at the front of the property and is triple aspect.
Now, I know you're fans of open-plan living, but this is a lovely alternative for those cold winter's nights, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lovely fireplace.
Yeah, it has got that really cosy feel, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It's nice because it's got windows on 3 sides, which makes it light and airy.
Yeah.
And it's got the beams, which
Got
give
the
it the
beams,
character.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice room.
Well, this is one of the reasons we wanted to show you this property. Because it's a modern house, the rooms do have those really good proportions that I know you're used to, certainly from your living space in London.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to bedrooms, you said you'd be happy with 3. We've managed to get 4 on this, so shall we take a wander up? Thank you.
Thank you.
The space on offer in this extensive detached home is making an impression on Mark and Sue so far. Let's see what they make of upstairs, where a landing snakes past 4 double bedrooms. 2 lie to the front of the house above the sitting room, 1 for guests and the other a study. The family bathroom is at the rear, sandwiched between the other 2 bedrooms. There's a large twin with its own ensuite, and that just leaves the 4th and final bedroom, which Mark and Sue could choose to use as their master.
And this is just one of the rooms I thought was really pretty. Good sized ensuite in there.
I don't think this has got the personalisation that it's got downstairs. This is like walking into a sort of hotel room. It's just a nice plain room. That's it, really.
Seems a bit small as well. I think downstairs was so impressive and very big.
And yes, you haven't got as much character up here, but it's about balancing off, isn't it, what matters?
Definitely, yeah.
I know a good-sized garden was on the wish list, so let's head down and explore this one, and I need you also to start thinking about the price.
Despite having 1 more bedroom than they asked for, as well as 3 bathrooms, Mark and Sue's enthusiasm seems to have dipped. Outside, there's an integral garage to look at, as well as gardens to the front, the rear and the side, featuring areas of lawn, alongside flower beds and mature shrubs and trees. There's also a large deck seating area just off the downstairs extension.
What do you think? Is this about the size of garden you had in mind?
It's perhaps a tad on the small side.
I'd say a bit more than a tad. Actually.
Right.
Quite a lot.
Yeah, I think we're probably looking for a reasonable amount more than this, don't you?
Where we could sort of put our own stamp on it, perhaps.
Obviously, the extension has eaten into quite a lot of the garden space.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's big enough for what we were after.
I wasn't sure if you were going from nothing. I thought, maybe you didn't want to go too much.
If you're going to go for it, go for it properly.
Okay. So how much do you think this property is on the market for?
425.
OK.
I reckon perhaps a little bit less than that, maybe 410, 420.
You're both under, because it's on the market, bang on budget, £450,000.
Right.
The downstairs is really good.
Oh, that's perfect.
We really
Yeah.
like the downstairs.
You could pop that in a, another house, a bigger garden. That's lovely.
Listen, don't write it off. Go inside, take another look around, and just, see if you could imagine yourselves there, and I'll come and find you.
Okay,
Thanks.
Right on budget, this generous, detached stone property has many of the things our buyers have asked for. The large kitchen with additional living space in the extension offers the open-plan living that they love. Whilst upstairs, there's plenty of accommodation. There are 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. There's also a single garage plus gardens to 3 sides. And the peaceful location gives easy access to both countryside and all the amenities they could wish for.
As we walked up, I thought the house looked absolutely fantastic. The downstairs, I think, is really great. It's almost perfect. The kitchen and the through dining room is ideal.
The garden just wasn't big enough for us, really. On the whole, very nice place, but I don't think it's going to be right for us.
You seen enough?
Yeah, I think so.
We've got more to see. Come on.
From cheddar cheese to cider, Somerset has a reputation for good, honest fare made from local produce. As Mark and Sue are keen to grow their own here, as well as explore some new culinary skills.
Strawberries years ago when the war was on, and then in the 80s, my dad kept growing the strawberries and decided to put some pumpkins in as well.
Pumpkins are thought to originate from the American continent, and Christopher Columbus is believed to have carried seeds with him back to Europe. This Chris grows a couple of different varieties on his Somerset farm, but Mark and Sue are picking out a large orange jack-o'-lantern, which can be used both for carving at Halloween and also for eating.
Right, so what are you doing with this pumpkin?
We're going to make some chutney.
Ah, right, I see. Right, well, we've got one here, look. He's a bit green on one side, but you give that one a tap. Does that sound hollow?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that one would be a good one then to make some chutney out of.
Cool, yeah. This is
It's a
weighty.
Yeah, you should make a lot of chutney out of that one.
Excellent.
With a gourd that's good to go, they're now heading to a cookery school in South Petherton, where teacher Angela Langford is ready to meet them.
Hello. Hello, hi.
Hello, Angela.
Hi.
Just picked this pumpkin fresh this morning and would like you to show us how to make some chutney.
I'd love to show you. It's a mighty pumpkin.
It certainly is.
Angela starts by getting them to chop some onion. This is put into a bowl along with crushed garlic, finely chopped ginger and fresh red chilli, as well as some crushed cardamom pods.
Lovely. That's probably enough, actually, because it's quite a strong spice. OK, so then we've got apples to go in it, as we're in Somerset. We must have apples.
And then to prepare their star ingredient.
Right.
How do we tackle that?
How do we tackle that? Just take a nice big slice out.
The pumpkin is then cubed.
That's really easy to cut now.
Some spices are toasted in a griddle pan, including black and yellow mustard seeds, cinnamon, bay leaves, star anise, and cumin seeds.
Can you start to smell they're releasing their flavours?
Then the chopped onion mixture is fried off in a large deep pan with some vegetable oil, along with the toasted spices and some ground turmeric.
That's going to give it a bit of flavour, but also lovely colour as well.
Then in goes the cubed apple and pumpkin and a good helping of brown sugar.
So this is cider vinegar, because obviously we want to keep it local.
Finally, it's seasoned with salt and pepper before bringing to the boil and leaving to simmer for around 40 minutes.
OK, I think that looks about ready.
And of course, the ideal way to enjoy locally grown, home-cooked chutney is with some cheddar cheese and biscuits.
Yeah, it's got a really lovely kick to it. It's really lovely. They're really
Quite
good.
sweet as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Good job.
You'll have to take some back to London with you.
Thank you.
Good luck with your search.
Thank you very much.
With a new local recipe under their belt, it's time to take stock of the Somerset journey so far, before our buyer's property search gears up again tomorrow. Mark and Sue from Bow in London's East End have up to £450,000 to fulfil their dream of countryside living in or around Somerset. So far, they've liked what we've offered them inside, but are still looking for their dream country garden. But there's more to see, and the mystery house could well put a twist in the tale.
You look quite taken aback.
Yeah, I was just stunned, really. It just wasn't what I was expecting at all.
And I'll be visiting a 14th century barn and discovering what was all the rage in late medieval flooring.
The mucus in the manure is really what helps get it all gluing together.
How charming. It's the second day of our house hunt here in Somerset, and our couple are definitely open to the style of property they're looking for. In fact, after yesterday, I now think the garden is more important to them than the house itself. So I have high hopes for today's two houses. They both have good-sized gardens. They're very different in character, and I think our couple may think the mystery house is a home from home.
Our house hunt is venturing 13 miles west of Yeovil to a pair of South Somerset villages known as the Sevingtons. The collective facilities of the villages of Sevington St Michael and Sevington St Mary include a shop and cafe run by local volunteers and a pub which brews its own beer. There's a church in each village, although the Grade 2 listed St Michael's is the only one that remains active. We're in the middle of the sister village of St Mary, where I have a rather picturesque proposition that Mark and Sue may find hard to resist.
Oh, that's lovely.
Is that your cup of tea?
Yeah, definitely.
It's exactly what you'd expect to see in a little village like this. It's really nice. It's your picture postcard cottage, isn't it? So it's lovely.
Do you want to have a look inside? Should we bother?
Shall we?
Shall we? Oh, yeah, come on, let's go and take a look.
Might as well, while we're here.
This largely 17th century Grade 2 listed semi-detached cottage was built from local ham stone. Recently renovated throughout, it's currently presented unfurnished. The front door, below a thatched porch, takes us into a long hall where the original features are immediately apparent.
Oh, so yeah, you come straight through into this lovely entrance hall, packed with character, and then this original oak panelling, which you've got the old maker's marks down at the bottom, down there. Oh. And all that character and the original features carry on in here in the living room. You can see the renovation has been done incredibly sympathetically, hasn't it?
Yeah. The only thing would be the beams and the height of the ceiling.
The fact is, it is a character property. It's got all those lovely features that you love, but with that comes things like lower ceilings. Should we take a look at the kitchen?
Yeah.
OK, thanks.
The kitchen is housed in a later rear extension and is large enough for a table and chairs.
So in contrast, the kitchen is very bright and light, with a good ceiling height.
A good contrast.
Yeah, this is nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is nice and bright and...
Nice views, looking outside,
Yeah.
plenty of windows.
And it's got so much character, it's amazing.
Didn't think we'd see something with this amount of character.
Well, that's great. Well, let's go upstairs and take a look at the bedrooms upstairs and see if this good vibe continues.
A resounding vote of approval for this quintessentially quirky cottage. And the character and calm just continue as we head upstairs to the two-bedroomed, one-bathroom accommodation.
Again, the original oak beams, round into the bathroom. That's just recently been done with its roll-top bath. I thought that'd get an oh wow.
The two double bedrooms are located to the front of the cottage, with the smallest again boasting a bounty of character features. And then there is the largest of the bedrooms.
And in here, into the master bedroom.
Oh.
With its original panelling, its original beams, those lovely deep windows.
Yeah, this is nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's really good. And I like the grate and the beams.
Yeah.
And the height of the ceilings.
I know that ideally you were looking for 3 rooms. How do you feel now you know that it's a 2-bedroomed house?
The only thing I am wondering is about storage up here.
You've always got to compromise when buying a place. So if it's 2 bedrooms, then you might have to live with that.
You can't believe how much I love it when I hear people say, you've always got to compromise.
It's the kind of guy I am.
And you have. Well, let's go and explore outside and just see what's going on out there.
Outside, Mark and Sue may find they don't have to compromise as much as they may think, but there's also a converted stone stable on offer. Divided into a WC and another larger room, it's a versatile bonus that could be converted and used for guest accommodation. The enclosed front garden is full of country colour, whilst the rear garden backs onto open countryside and includes a patio area plus a small orchard. There's also a former cart house that now provides a triple carport, and I'm hoping all the elements and space up for grabs here will be enough.
How's the garden for size?
Better.
It's nice, and I think as well, because you've got the fields at the back, you feel like you've got a huge garden.
What do you think about the idea of having your own mini orchard?
That's brilliant. I love that.
Lots of apple pies.
Lots of apple pies.
Well, you can't come and live in Somerset and have an apple tree or two, can you? I think there's probably something written in the local law about that, I'm sure. So I need you to guess the price. What do you think this is on the market for?
I think it's going to be quite expensive, so I'm going to go 445.
445?
Yeah.
430.
430, OK. That's interesting. You're both off the mark. It's on the market for £375,000.
Cool.
No!
I'm amazed at that.
Yeah.
OK, well, that's good. I can tell. I can see now your minds are just whirring over.
Yeah, it's ticking.
So go in, take a really good look around and just think about how you'd use the space and what the potential is.
OK.
Rightio.
Fantastic.
The asking price of this Grade 2 listed, fully renovated thatched cottage would leave Mark and Sue a generous £75,000 to create their perfect home. The original features, including beams and an inglenook fireplace, ooze country charm, whilst the new kitchen offers stylish modern convenience. There are outbuildings that could potentially be converted, as well as a good-sized garden, and it's all located in a thriving village.
But all this, I mean, we wouldn't really need all this as car parking because we've only got the one car. But
Yeah. Well, you can block this off.
a bit overwhelming, really, this part.
Yeah, there's a lot we can do.
Yeah. I think it's lovely. From the first time you see it outside with a thatched roof and little country garden in the front, it just looks gorgeous. And then you walk in and all the wood and the big fireplace and the window seats and then the really nice kitchen. It's absolutely brilliant. Got so much character.
The budget surprised both of us, and that will give us money then to perhaps do something with the outside building and then perhaps have a 3rd bedroom or a games room. And the outside looks really good. I mean, the views from the back of the garden, and having your own trees in there.
It's one of those houses that you feel like you just immediately want to say yes. It's definitely one that we're going to think about, yeah.
I was just stood here thinking how chocolate box pretty all of this is.
It is. You couldn't get anything nicer, could you?
No, it's given us lots to think about.
Yeah, how are you both feeling?
Oh, confused.
And we've still got the mystery house to come, so the confusion could increase, who knows?
It will.
Somerset is a county steeped in rural history, but as with the rest of England, the ownership and management of its landscape has a turbulent history. During the Middle Ages, almost half of all English land was owned by the king and nobility, or bishops and abbots who shared noble status. In the 14th century, the abbey at Glastonbury was one such estate, and the second wealthiest in the country. That was all to change a couple of centuries later, when King Henry VIII seized lands for the crown, or sold them off to fund his military campaigns. Fast forward to the 1970s, the estate had become a dairy farm, and its striking 14th century former Abbey barn donated to Somerset County Council, who developed it into a museum celebrating rural life. It's currently undergoing major renovation, and Tom Maybury from the South West Heritage Trust is in charge of the project. I've come to meet him in the farm's courtyard.
So just tell me about the plans for what's happening around us and what it's all going to look like in a couple of years' time.
On one side of us is the Abbey barn from the middle of the 14th century. Then there are the cowsheds around us here from the 19th century. All those spaces are being reinvented so that we can tell Somerset's farming story chiefly from Victorian times up to more or less the modern day.
So working with a building like the Abbey barn must present some huge challenges for you.
We're very lucky in the South West Heritage Trust to have our own conservation team, so we do have the skills, but you're quite right. There are all kinds of protections on a building like that, and so we have to make sure that we do the right thing. And of course there are our permanent guests here, like the bats in the roof space of the Abbey barn. We've got to make sure that we treat them properly and according to the law as well. We've got our conservation team working on a solution for how we make a more durable floor in there, but pay tribute to the ancient qualities of the building. So perhaps you'd like to go and take a look.
Sounds fantastic. I look forward to it.
Yes.
Thanks so much for talking to me.
Right.
Bye.
Back in the 14th century, this Grade 1 listed barn was used to store the Abbey's estate harvest and thresh grain. It was also an opportunity for the abbot to show off his wealth by ordering the finest craftsmanship of the time. So how does Nick Wall, the senior conservation officer, plan to make an authentic floor that will withstand thousands of modern-day visiting feet, but also stays true to the centuries-old building methods?
How do you know what would have been used and what materials would have been used on it?
We're largely using archaeological investigations, studying the building itself, and also looking at other buildings around it of a similar period. And we want to put back a threshing floor and earth floors in the nave part. Having studied floors elsewhere, we know that's the kind of floor that a barn of this status and use would have had. So here we're doing the lime ash floor.
The main filler material is natural clay, to which lime and ash are added, and to keep it authentic, a good helping of manure.
The mucus in the manure is really what helps get it all gluing together.
How charming.
The mucus and the lime. We've got some little extras as well. This is some milk gone off nice and sour, and we have some eggs. So
Look.
they're going to, again, be another bonder and make the mix more workable.
Here goes. Just chuck them in?
Just chuck them in.
Nice, they're not smashing. Ah, that's better. Nice, it's really sour, isn't it? Sour and thick and nasty.
After a good stir in the traditional mixing mill, our organic foundation layer is ready for use.
Yes, we'll pour this in now, and then we just need to squish it in place. And this will be the first layer that goes in.
Should we chuck it in? There we go. Ooh.
Okay.
After pouring, the next stage is to spread and tamper it into place.
We want a nice dry mix, but it does mean you've got to keep going until it clumps together nicely.
You've given a big chunk of your life to this project. What's it going to be like when you see it filled with people?
Oh, it'd be lovely. People will actually really enjoy it for a long time and come away with lovely memories of the building.
It's going to be really special, and this is a building that it definitely needs to be celebrated, doesn't it?
Oh, it definitely does.
From wealthy beginnings through turbulent times, it's heartening to know that this medieval gem will soon be enjoying a new lease of life for all to appreciate here in the Somerset countryside.
How do you feel about making the move here from London? Now we've spent some time here and started to look at some properties.
I think it's just convinced us even more that we are doing the right thing. The whole place is just lovely, you know, you don't really go through anywhere that doesn't have stunning scenery, and the villages are lovely. Just can't wait, really.
We've just got to find you a house.
Exactly.
Let's hope the mystery house is the one, hey?
So,
Our mystery house strays out of our search area, taking us into the depths of Dorset, within 2 miles of the Jurassic coast, to the village of Portisham. Located in an area rich in prehistoric remains, this lovely village features a pub with dining and accommodation, a village hall, a doctor's surgery, and a medieval church. The small stream runs by pretty, mainly limestone cottages, one of which, during the 18th century, was home to Sir Thomas Masterman Hardy, a commander under Lord Nelson at the Battle of Trafalgar. Like many other local residents, he affectionately referred to the village as Pawsome. Wrapped within this historic village, the unexpected character of our mystery proposition is cloaked from view.
What do you think you're going to find beyond that gate?
I don't know.
We could do better than
A nice old stone-built house. I don't know.
Oh, OK. Are you
Got no
intrigued?
idea. Yeah.
Let's go and get that gate opened and see what we can see. So let's push open this big gate, and in we come.
That's different.
It's different, isn't it? You've got this kind of secret courtyard garden, and then this very modern property built in a horseshoe shape all around it.
Oh, right.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's really different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Different in a good way.
Definitely. Yeah.
So you are keen for me to open the door and take a look inside. Let's go and have a look.
Built in 2004, this unique and contemporary mystery house provides single-storey accommodation arranged in a horseshoe and delivers the type of open-plan living space Mark and Sue are used to in their London home.
It made me think of the property you're both in now, because it's a blend of old and new. It's got high ceilings. You're expecting old, but it's this really interesting modern property.
Yeah, you're right. It is, in that respect, it is really similar.
What about the kitchen and this open plan feel generally?
That's great for us. That's what we're used to.
Yeah. On a much bigger scale here.
This is a much bigger scale, a much bigger kitchen.
Yeah.
You can see there is loads of
space.
And you get an even better sense of all the space and the light when you come through into this side of the living area.
It's really nice. It's because you sit there and you've got light coming in on both sides, and there's so many windows.
We like the sort of the windows we got at home and the high ceilings, and you've got that here as well. So.
But we don't have such a nice view at the moment. We overlook a railway line.
Yeah. No, this would work.
You look quite taken aback.
Yeah, I was just stunned, really. It just wasn't what I was expecting at all. I don't know what I was expecting, but not this.
The sleeping accommodation is located to either side of the central living space. To one end is the large double bedroom, presently set up as a twin.
Yeah, it's taken a little bit of getting used to the fact that it's something completely unexpected.
I know the garden matters to both of you.
Yeah.
So let's go and explore the garden and just take a look at the views outside.
Okay.
Thank you.
The surprising layout of our mystery offering may be causing our buyers some confusion. But with exterior plot size so important to the two of them, I think they'll find the quarter-of-an-acre garden a more straightforward delight. A hedged and landscaped area includes established fruit trees. Plus there's secure off-road parking for several cars, along with a large workshop.
So how is this for size for you? Could you fit your vegetable plot in here?
I think so.
Yeah, I think the garden is a really nice size.
Nice views.
Yeah.
It's a good-sized
nice
garden.
views, good garden. Yeah, plenty of space.
What do you think this property's on the market for?
Go on. You go
I've
first.
got absolutely no idea. 450.
I'm going over budget, 475.
OK, Mark, I'm afraid that you're wrong. Sue, you are absolutely right. It's on the mark. £450,000.
Definitely got to think about that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Go and have another look around and come and find me when you're ready.
OK.
Right on budget, the contemporary horseshoe-shaped mystery house could just be the surprise lucky find of Mark and Sue's house hunt. The open-plan cooking and living space is an upscaled version of what they know and love. And there are 3 bedrooms to choose from, including a master ensuite. The enclosed garden offers all the outside space thereafter, and it's located in a secluded setting within a popular village.
Right from the moment we walked through the front gate and saw it was a relatively new property, seeing the size of the kitchen and the living room, and it reminded us of what we've got at the moment.
It takes the bits of the flat that I really like, the open feeling, the light and that sort of aspect about it, which is something that we haven't had in some of the other houses we've looked at.
The gardens, yeah, I mean, it's the ideal size, and we've got plenty of things we can do to it to make it our own.
I think it's definitely something we'd consider.
Have you seen enough?
Yes, thanks. Yeah.
Well, the Mystery House wraps things up, so why don't we find somewhere to sit down and have a chat about the houses we've seen?
That sounds like a good idea.
OK.
It's been a great couple of days, so let's just recap on the properties that we've seen and let's turn to that 17th century cottage with the thatch in the village.
That house was absolutely gorgeous. I think the garden was nice, the village was lovely. The only issue was it only had the 2 bedrooms.
We don't have to invite anyone down.
No.
And the Mystery House. I had no idea what you were going to make of it before we went in. You seemed to be positive when we looked round it.
Without a doubt, the garden was the best garden we've seen.
Yeah.
And the house itself, it was really nice, but I think just not sure if in our minds we'd already committed to having an older style house.
The bits we liked about it reminded us of where we are now, but we've almost outgrown that.
What was interesting when I first met the two of you was that you were very open to the style of property. So has the search solidified things for you? Has it given you a clearer idea of what it is that you want to find?
I think perhaps it has. Out of the houses we saw, apart from the last one, they did all have that little extra, not character necessarily, but just more of a traditional house, I suppose.
I have a feeling, Sue, that with you, if we could have put a 3rd bedroom on that 17th century thatched cottage, we'd be having a very different conversation now.
I think we would. I think we'd be there, because that was perfect.
Completely agree. Yeah.
So I think that perhaps in your heart, you do know what it is that you hope to find, what that little dream is. We're sure that you're going to end up here in a fabulous house, and we hope that you'll be really happy when you do.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Well, it's the end of our house hunt here in Somerset, and sadly, we didn't manage to find Sue and Mark the house of their dreams. But I think our search helped them to focus on what it is they're looking for in a property. And it also confirmed to them that this is definitely the part of the country they want to call home.
Welcome to Escape to the Country. This magnificent castle behind me has, over the centuries, played host to both medieval and Stuart kings. But when its current owner bought it less than 40 years ago, it was, in his words, a total wreck. So who might be persuaded to take on such an ambitious project of restoration, and where? Well, join me in just a moment and I'll tell you. On today's show, 2 friends partner up to help one of them fulfil a long-held country dream. But bonding with the locals could prove tricky.
Somewhere to sit out and enjoy looking at those cows.
We've laid them on especially, Chris, to help you try and overcome your cow phobia. And if the figures stack up, our properties are right on the money.
I'll have it. Can I have it?
Of course you can, if you can afford it. How much is the question, isn't it? Well, today we are in Northumberland, and this is the very splendid backdrop of Chillingham Castle, home to the Gray family since the 13th century, a family who, amongst other things, gave us a very popular blend of tea. Now, over the last 800 years or so, it's been lived in, fought over, and then finally left to rack and ruin until its current owner, the very colourful Sir Humphrey Wakefield, bought it back in the early 1980s. Now, later on in the show, I'll be getting my own very special guided tour in the company of Sir Humphrey himself, finding out just what it takes to restore a building like this, but also getting a little insight into what life is really like in a very Englishman's castle. Right at the head of England, Northumberland is the country's crowning glory, sharing County Durham and Cumbria's county borders with Scotland just the other side of its northern boundary. And Northumberland's prime position, sitting shoulder to shoulder with Scotland, has greatly influenced the county's heritage and architecture. The coastal castle at Bamburgh was a key stronghold in Anglo-Saxon Northumbria, and the epic 1900-year-old Hadrian's Wall charges over 70 miles from the north to the Irish Sea, cutting through the region's wild, dramatic and remote countryside. With swathes of secluded beaches and the UK's least populated national park, it's small wonder that Northumberland has been voted the most tranquil county in the country. Well, for a county with some beautiful rural and coastal locations, Northumberland also represents pretty good value for money. Currently, the average price of a detached property is £223,000 here. That's some £60,000 below the national figure. But for all of its celebrated coastline, coastal properties are hard to find. However, step inland and you are blessed with not only beautiful countryside, but also exceptional value for money. But before we continue exploring this wonderful county, we're heading a little further south in the country, to the town of Conisbrough, near Doncaster in South Yorkshire. Home to today's buyer, Chris, a retired lecturer, and her best friend and neighbour, Linda, who works as a nurse.
I used to have the pub at the bottom of the road, the Castle Inn. I was a landlady there, and Linda used to come in. I didn't really know her then, but I heard that when I thought about moving here, she was a bit worried because she thought I was a bit stuck up. But anyway, I moved in, and we became good friends almost immediately, didn't we?
Yeah. I realised she wasn't stuck up after all.
Living next door to one another for 12 years, Chris and Linda have developed a close bond and have even put a gate up between their gardens so they can wander freely in and out of one another's properties. Boundary hopping may soon cease, as Chris has recently put her 3-bedroom detached home on the market.
I've been very happy in this house here, but it's getting a bit big for me now. So I'd like to move somewhere that's not so high maintenance, and is warmer, and so I wouldn't have to spend so much time and so much money looking after it. And also, the traffic, although it's an unadopted road that I live on, they use it as a shortcut.
It does get very busy on that road at the top, and we both, when you do some part-time work, don't you? And I walk up to work. You know, the traffic sometimes, the fumes and the dust, you know, and you just think, oh, it does get you down a little bit.
A creative at heart, Chris now wants to downsize and escape her urban surroundings to find inspiration from the sea and countryside of the northeast.
The area that I'd like to move to is the Northumberland coast, because I had a friend who sadly died this year, and I used to spend time with her. She lived in a caravan on the beach, and we used to walk on these empty beaches. It's so unspoilt and wild up there. She found her artistic side up there, and she's sort of inspiring me to want to go up there and find my creative side as well. I will write that novel.
And aside from artistic aspirations, proximity to her family is also fueling the decision to relocate.
I've got 2 sons. The elder one lives in Austria and is married an Austrian woman. My younger son has married a Scottish girl, and they've just moved up to Edinburgh. So that's one of the reasons why I'd like to move, because I'd like to move somewhere closer to them.
So with family to visit, things to make and books to write, this Northumbrian move heralds not only a change of location, but a complete change of lifestyle for both ladies.
I think this is an important move for me because it will probably be the last move that I make. And yet I feel now, at the age of 64, I'm still young enough and still active enough to make that move and make new friends and find new interests.
You know, I'm going to miss her when she goes, and we've got such a good friendship. It's a shame, really, not to still be near her. So possibly, you know, when I'm almost ready for retiring myself, I might actually go and join her.
For the best chance of finding what Chris, or indeed Linda, is after, Our Northumberland property search will be focused in attractive villages within the northern portion of the county, pushing right up to the Scottish border and out towards the eastern coast. So I'm meeting up with them in the county to glean a better understanding of this impending move. Well, Chris Linda, welcome to Escape to the Country and welcome to Northumberland.
Thank you.
So you now think that the time is right to make this move, and you've brought Linda along as some sensible counsel in this move.
Yeah, I think I just need to, you know, keep a check on her really and make sure she makes the right choices.
So give us a sense, Chris, of the kind of property that you are after.
Well, I like somewhere with character that's probably been something else, you know, like an old schoolhouse or something.
How many bedrooms? Because obviously you're going to want friends and family to come and stay.
2 or 3, because I've got 2 sons and one lives in Edinburgh. That's one of the reasons why I want to move up, to be closer to him. So I need at least a spare room. I'd like to have a view. It doesn't have to be sea, but not far from the sea. And I'd like somewhere with a kitchen I can sit in, because I've not had that before, a garden that I can sit in and hang the washing out. That's important as well.
Now, Linda, you know Chris better than I do. How easy is it going to be to satisfy her needs, do you think?
I think it has to be something quirky for Chris. She won't make do with just boring or mundane. It has to have something unusual about it, because she's a very quirky person, aren't you?
And in terms of the budget then, Chris, how much do you think you're going to have to spend?
Well, I've only got 200,000, so that really is the maximum.
Well, this is a beautiful part of the world. Why more people don't escape to the northeast, I simply don't know.
Don't tell them, though.
No, I think it's a really hidden gem that offers you brilliant value for money and beautiful landscape.
Yeah.
We've got a really interesting range of properties to show you. We've got some beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Shall we go?
Yep.
Come on then, follow me this way. For a top budget of £200,000, Chris is after a characterful property with a kitchen, breakfast room and at least 2 bedrooms. Ideally, she'd like a garden with a workshop in which to get creative and somewhere with an inspiring outlook. And we've got a wonderful mix of homes to serve up, but I won't be revealing the attached price tags until they've had a good look around each one first. Then, last on the property agenda is our mystery house, which could bring the coast and my companions closer than they ever imagined. Now, I gather you have a rather unique phobia, Chris, of all things, about cows. Is that right?
It's not a unique phobia. They're actually very dangerous animals and they trample people to death.
How many people do you think are killed a year by cows?
About 7,000.
Did you just make that up?
You did make it up, because I can tell you it's 5. 5 a year.
I was close then.
Actually, double the number killed by horses. So maybe there is something in your phobia.
Yeah.
Our property search is heading right up north and just out of the county to the border village of Sprouston. From here, the Scottish market town of Kelso is the nearest place to pick up essentials and luxuries. Situated on the banks of the River Tweed, Kelso lies in a fertile valley within 10 miles of the English border. At its centre is a cobbled square which is the largest in Scotland and whose Georgian town hall is topped by a clock tower that chimes every quarter. The winding streets of the town host a vast range of shops and amenities, eateries and accommodation. These are all just a 10-minute drive from the property I want to show Chris and Linda back in the rural outskirts of Sprouston. Right then, Chris and Linda, come over here. There we are.
That is beautiful.
Oh, that is really nice.
It's the end terrace, really, in this interesting complex of former farm workers' cottages.
The look of the house with the porch and even those tiles on the roof, it just looks so welcoming. It's just lovely.
The nice thing is, of course, it being on the end, it does feel more like it is completely detached, because your garden goes that way and you've got those amazing views beyond over towards England, because we have stepped over the border, as you know, only just, about a mile or so. You've also got access to a communal garden out here.
The garden, that's what drew me in straight away. You can see already from here there's all little nooks and crannies where you could sit, and summer house.
Is this the sort of thing that might appeal then?
Yeah, this looks gorgeous.
Let's have a look. Come on, let's stop talking about it. Let's see what you think. Built between 1890 and 1900, at first sight, this pretty end terrace seems to deliver on the character Chris was after. Recently refurbished inside, I'm confident the interior design will also match up to expectations. To the right of the entrance hall, we find the main reception room. Right, Linda, you're in charge of the door. Come this way, Chris. Let's start with the living room. This delightful space features a wood-burning stove in the fireplace and double doors out onto the garden.
Oh yeah, this is nice.
Yeah?
I feel like somebody like me lives here.
This first room is hitting the right mark for Chris, so it's all very good so far. What's more, we've also got a charming country kitchen.
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
This looks like solid beach, is it?
Yeah, it is solid beach, yeah. As well as rustic wooden worktops, the kitchen also has enough space for a small table and a great utility room beyond. Also on the ground floor is the family bathroom, fitted with a classic heritage three-piece suite. Then the staircase winds up to the first floor, where there are 3 bedrooms. One is part furnished and comes with a WC ensuite. Another is being used as an office/music room. And then this is the master.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
The master also comes with its own ensuite shower room and a decorative cast iron fireplace. But the real highlight of the master, and indeed the whole property, has to be the large wooden balcony through the French doors.
Wow, look at this.
Wow.
Amazing view, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see a little river.
Now then, here's the story. That little bit of river you can see is actually just a tiny part of the River Tweed, and that's the border between England and Scotland. So those houses you can see beyond it, they're in England, and we're in Scotland.
Right.
You couldn't be closer. And I love this time of year. I love seeing the harvest in and done and these round bales strewn across the landscape. It's just a lovely entree into autumn.
And you wanted a view, didn't you? I mean,
Yeah.
This is a lovely view.
It's not a sea view, but, you know, not bad.
Somehow appropriate that my English son's married a Scottish girl.
There you are.
I am.
Yeah, exactly. The whole family's now in Scotland, potentially. Not wanting to preempt anything, of course, Chris.
I love it. Can I have it?
Of course you can, if you can afford it.
Yeah.
How much is the question, isn't it? Come on, let's go down there, give you a closer look at the garden and talk about the price. So, as well as those stunning panoramic views, which the owner tells me deliver amazing sunrises, the cottage also benefits from a large communal lawned area and a landscape private garden. What's more, there's even the requested workshop in the form of a sage green timber summerhouse. Now this, I'm thinking, would make a great writer's retreat.
Yeah, it's great. Writing and reading in there is wonderful.
Is this inspiring to you?
I just love it. Everything about it.
Yeah?
No, it's very you, this house, I think. Yeah.
Let's get to the nitty-gritty then, because we haven't dealt with the price yet, Linda. Go on then.
I would say 195.
195, just under budget.
I think it's above my budget.
Go on.
225.
225. This is on the market for offers in excess of £192,500. So you weren't far off, Linda.
No.
It's certainly under budget. It's a great property in a great spot.
I will seriously consider it.
Go on then, discuss it amongst yourselves and I will come and find you a little bit later on.
Okay.
Comfortably under budget, this Victorian cottage is packed full of charm and character. It has 3 bedrooms that include a most impressive master suite with commanding views from a private balcony. And outside, the gardens offer plenty of scope for Chris's creative ambitions. Ah, here you are. Enjoying your garden?
I am. Just mind that way, I can't see the view.
Oh, pardon me. Well, look, you haven't bought it yet.
No.
Our search will continue tomorrow, but in the meantime, I think we should go and enjoy a well-earned glass of wine.
Let's.
Come on.
Sounds good. Mine's red.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
The incentive for Christine's move to Northumberland is the desire to get more artistic, drawing inspiration from her newfound coast and country environment. So we've arranged for Chris and Linda to meet Gerard van der Veen, an artist originally from Holland, who takes reclaimed and salvaged natural materials from the county and transforms them into home and garden features to attract local wildlife.
Hello, I'm Linda.
Hi, I'm Gerard.
Hello, I'm Chris.
Hi.
Gerard, what do you do here?
I make all kinds of things for the environment. I try to use old reclaimed slate and make all kinds of products to enhance life and nature.
So why slate?
It's a beautiful construction material to work with. A lot of people think even slate is slate. No, that's not. You have from rock hard to butter soft, so you really have to pick and choose your right piece of slate, because from, say, 10 pieces, I only use about 2.
Oh, wow, what sort of things do you make?
I make a whole variety. I make bird feeders to bird tables to bird houses, nesting boxes. I really want to enhance nature.
After a career in product design, Gerard left the corporate world to set up his own enterprise, creating products that are environmentally friendly. Taking advantage of his proximity to the River Reed, which meanders through the village of West Woodburn where he lives, he uses the water to clean, soak and cut the slate.
Like this, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. Just top and bottom, that's it.
Okay.
Just another 100 to go.
Would you go back to city life, Gerard?
Not really, to be honest. I fell in love with nature here, especially here in Northumberland. It's ruralness. The main reason why I live very rural is that because you can shape your own life. When you go back to city will shape your life, and that's the reason why I'm here in Northumberland.
I'm into making things from found objects, particularly driftwood I'm interested in, and there's lots of it, isn't there, around here on the beaches of Northumberland?
Yes. Nice. Now that you mentioned wood, of course I use slate, but I also use wood, and I'm using that also in the studio. If Linda's ready, we could go to the studio and have a look what I make from also wood and slate.
Okay, lovely.
All of Gerard's products are handmade in his workshop, and he's showing Chris and Linda how to make one of his best sellers using reclaimed offcuts of slate from across the county, mostly found or donated.
What are we making today?
Well, I was thinking of showing you my window feeder. It's my most popular product. The birds love it, but also the people who buy it love it, because you can see birds at very close proximity. This is the bottom. You put it in position there, under a slope. The reason why I use a slope, because the water will drain out. Yeah. So when you put the food on, the food will never get moldy, and therefore they will eat everything what you put there, and so you won't attract vermin.
Using eco-friendly glue, 2 pre-cut angled slates are hinged together.
It doesn't seem a lot.
You don't need that very much.
Then joined to the base and left to set. A bracket is then fashioned using salvaged copper wire, onto which a sucker is attached so the feeder can be hung from a window.
Where do you get all the rest of your materials from?
Well, the slate is coming from all kinds of directions, to be honest. A lot is donated, and I try to give it an extra life. So after hanging 100 years on the roof, I'm now trying to extend it with another, say, 25, even more years.
Slate is a dark grey metamorphic rock. Essentially, it's compressed mud that's been compacted and heated under extreme pressure over millions of years.
Finished?
Yeah.
So another 3 window feeders. I would say take the window feeders with you, and that's a token from me.
Oh,
Good
thank
luck.
you.
Thank you, it's very kind of you.
A lovely memory of today. It's been brilliant.
Okay,
You've been
thank you.
inspirational.
So let's trust that that inspiring vision continues when our house hunt gears up again in the morning. We're in Northumberland, which is where Chris, from a town near Doncaster in South Yorkshire, wants to establish a new life in the country. She's got £200,000 to spend and has brought along her best friend and neighbour, Linda, to help. We've still got 2 more property options to put forward, and our ladies are lost for words when it comes to the mystery house.
How do we feel about this notion, this idea?
There is a deathly silence. And I visit one of the county's many fascinating castles. Wow. To learn about its ancestors past and present, both inside and out.
I never thought I'd see prehistoric cattle in this number, not least in Northumberland.
Well, I am loving this house search in Northumberland, and the unique dynamic between Chris and Linda is, if I'm honest, really intriguing, because on the one hand, we're trying to fulfil Chris's ambitions to make a move to Northumberland, but if Linda's hopes for the future are to be realised too, well, chances are she may not be far behind her. And that is where our mystery house comes in. Now, on the one hand, of course, I would love to sell it to Chris, but it's also got an interesting option for Linda as well. So could we be on the brink of pulling off a first for Escape to the Country, selling not just one, but 2 properties? However, before we get to the mystery proposition, we have another house to see. To get to it, we're going to hop back over the border between England and Scotland to the small rural Scottish village of Whitsom. Just over 3 miles away from the house, the English village of Norham is the closest place to find a good selection of facilities, from pubs and a convenience store to a baker's and a butcher's. Featuring a green surrounded by terraced stone cottages, Norham is one of the most northerly villages in England, so much so that one end actually lies in Scotland. The village sits in the shadow of the towering 12th century Norham Castle, whose ruins were first captured on canvas by the painter J.M.W. Turner in 1797 and came to feature in many of his works. So, following in the footsteps of one of the country's great masters, the landscape here could provide the perfect backdrop for our creative house hunter Chris, if she can see past the bovine neighbours. Well, we talk about the peace and quiet of the countryside, but not here today. As you can hear, the farmers around about are busy sorting out their planting for winter crops and so on. So there's a bit of farming activity going on, but of course the countryside is a busy place, and all of this activity surrounds that.
It's a lovely looking house, stone built.
Here we are again in farm workers' cottage territory, and you can see this lovely Victorian sort of terrace.
End property again, so got the lovely views. Somewhere to sit out and enjoy looking at those cows.
Yes, now the cows. We've laid them on especially, Chris, to help you try and overcome your cow phobia.
Thank you.
They're enjoying the sunshine. They're not bothered by us, so I'm hoping that in time you won't be bothered by them.
We're very close to the house, though.
Yeah, but the fence is all right, though. I've checked it. Don't worry about it. But it also comes with this garden and that summer house.
Oh, I didn't notice that at first.
That's nice.
Now, that would be quite a useful studio for you.
It would.
Linda, what's your first impression?
I don't think it's as pretty as the last house we saw, but just nice, yeah. Let's see what it looks like inside.
Right then, let's see what you think. Although sensing a bit of trepidation outside, this stone-built semi-detached home is definitely worth a closer inspection. It's got a rather unusual layout, so could deliver that quirky character Chris was hoping for. Down on the ground floor is a double bedroom, a bathroom and an open-plan kitchen, dining and living room with a stone feature fireplace.
That's lovely.
Oh, that is nice.
I've never had a kitchen this big before.
But what makes this one slightly curious is that the main living room is not here, it's upstairs. Just beyond the kitchen living area, through a small hall, lies the double bedroom and the main 4-piece family bathroom, which has 2 entrances. But in many ways, this is a property of 2s. It's got 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and 2 living rooms, the second one being up the stairs on the first floor. Have you ever tried upside-down living, as it were?
No, but somebody who lives at the bottom of my garden has got an upside-down house.
And I've been to New Zealand.
Oh, there you are, then. What do you think?
That's really unusual, isn't it? I was just expecting a landing, but it's the whole floor. And I love the windows. I'm already thinking that I'd have a bigger kitchen and come and sit up here. Or maybe I'd have one room for music, one room for the TV.
Nice idea.
Quirky.
It is quirky. Well, you said that Chris would like quirky. Is this quirky enough, Chris?
It's quirky, yeah.
Up here, what could be Chris's master is another spacious double bedroom.
Fitted wardrobes. I like the shape of it again.
And finally, for the internal tour, is the shower room. Again, Jack and Jill in style, so also acts as an ensuite to the master. There you are. Jack and Jill. What a great idea. I think it's fair to say that both ladies are suitably impressed up to now, and the final piece of the puzzle is what's on offer in terms of garden space. That and the all-important price. This is the thing to consider now, of course, the garden. We glimpsed it on our way in. The main event here really is that studio summer house, which I'm sure you'd make good use of. Insulated, it's got power in it, and of course behind it there's lovely views of the Cheviots.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I think it's a really simple proposition, but I think it could work for you. That's what I really like about it, and I think Linda's coming round to it too.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it would work for her, actually.
Yeah. Well, let's get down to the numbers, shall we? You've got £200,000 to spend. We're just over the border in Scotland, so make me an offer on this one.
I think it's near the top of the budget. I would say 195.
195, Linda?
Yeah.
No, I don't agree, actually. I think it's lower end. I think maybe even 175.
Oh, do you? Well, I'm afraid you're both wrong. But it's good news, because this is on the market for offers in the region of £165,000.
Wow, I like it even more now.
Thought you might. Right then. It's not a big place, but we will give you a little more time to go and have a run around and see what you think of it, get a feel of it, because it is different, that whole upside down thing. Go and enjoy yourselves.
Okay.
Okay.
And I will find you somewhere a little bit later on. Brilliant. You know, there's an old phrase which I rely upon every day: less is more. That's the way to get something simple, to get something efficient, and to get something which ultimately just works. And that's what I love about this property. Less is more. £35,000 below budget, this Victorian semi-detached upside-down cottage has a modern open-plan kitchen, living and dining room. 2 double bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, as well as a substantial, fully powered summer house. And the property is situated in a peaceful rural pocket surrounded by farmland.
This house is probably more the sort of house that I was imagining I would want to have, because of that old exterior, some history to it, but all the mod cons inside. I wouldn't have to do anything to it, and yet it would be so peaceful.
Ah, I thought I might find you out here. Very useful thing, isn't it?
It's lovely. It's perfect, because already I'm having my studio workshop in here to do my driftwood sculptures.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
You see, it's all coming together beautifully. So, we have potentially another property on your list of possibles, do we?
Definitely.
But there is one more to see, our mystery house, and for that we're going to take a bit of a drive back over the border. Come on.
Okay.
With miles of prime coast and acres of beautiful countryside, control of Northumberland has been a source of conflict for centuries. A legacy of this turbulent past is found within the now peaceful walls of the county's castles. I've come to visit Chillingham Castle, home to Sir Humphrey Wakefield. The castle had lain derelict for some 50 years, but Sir Humphrey poured his heart and soul into a formidable restoration project, and now proudly opens the castle to the public. Sir Humphrey.
Jules.
Very nice to see you, sir.
Very good to see you.
And what a wonderful home you have.
I love it very much indeed. It's a wonderful border castle with all the strengths that you would expect, and all the history is still here.
It's interesting to stand here and imagine what this would have looked like when great retinues arrived to use the castle and host events over the centuries.
I mean, many kings and forces, assault forces as well. It's seen a lot.
But it's been your home since the early 1980s when you set about, let's face it, a pretty ambitious project. I'm fascinated to see just what you've done and how you've gone about it. Can you give me a very personal tour?
I'm going to show you.
It's wonderful. Chillingham became fully fortified in 1344, and there have been very few structural additions since then, apart from the elaborate galleries built in the Tudor period which surround the central courtyard. Oh, this is fabulous. Wow. What was this like when you first discovered it?
When I came here, it was a forest of trees, and wherever you see a stone cracked, there was a tree growing up, and it was just crying out for action. The stones here, the paving stones here, they were put in for the King's visit in 1603.
Which king?
King James I of England, the 6th of Scotland.
But the family's ancestors must have been a bit downhearted when they thought the king was coming, because the amount of expense they'd have to go to accommodate him.
They had cash, they wanted him to stay. they were on the up, and that was just the ticket.
So it was a nice political move.
Very nice, very good, strong political move, yes.
Oh, come on, show me what you've done.
Oh, come and have a look.
Sir Humphrey has tackled dry rot, collapsed roofs, burst pipes, birds and bats to bring the castle back to its former glory, which really shines through in the King James I drawing room. Wow. Well, this is another moment in time completely, isn't it?
It is. It's the same moment in time, put in for the king.
Is that an Elizabethan ceiling?
Yes, 1500s.
But for all the challenges of restoring the castle and the responsibility of being the guardian of this building, what is day-to-day life like for you in a castle like this?
Day-to-day life is absolutely wonderful. And I love living here and feel very happy living here and feel the ghosts are happy with me.
Well, Sir Humphrey, it's been a real treat. I'm going to leave you in peace. Thank you very much indeed.
But there's so much more to see. Come back many times and see all our other rooms, because we've got lots of other rooms to show you.
There is so much more to see, and I couldn't leave without exploring some of the 360 acres here. And exclusively on the grounds of this estate are the Chillingham wild cattle, believed to be the only survivors of the wild herds that once roamed Britain's forests. Park Warden Ellie Crossley is taking me to see them from a very safe distance.
The bull there looks absolutely beautiful, and there is certainly something very prehistoric about the outline of the head and the shoulders.
Yeah, and the way the dappled effect makes him blend perfectly in with the woodland as well.
But in terms of the way you manage them, as I understand it, you don't interfere with them at all. No vets, no carving. You don't really even have to feed them.
No, I mean, it's literally just survival of the fittest out here, and that's how it's always been. So that's resulted in extremely strong, hardy animals that can do very well without our help.
It's quite a thought to think that this small number of animals that we're looking at now represent such a huge leap back in time.
And that's why it's really important to keep them here, because this shows such a vast difference between these animals and what we've now created on our farms, which are so incredibly different to these guys. A dairy cow wouldn't survive 5 seconds out here. On a farm, you have one bull who never has to compete for his females a day in his life, basically. Whereas here, we have 50 bulls, and they're all competing for that top spot to be able to mate with the females, and it's absolutely amazing watching that.
Well, it's a wonderful sight, Ellie. I never thought I'd see prehistoric cattle in this number, not least in Northumberland, but it's a real joy. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
What history these ancient cattle, the castle walls and its reputed ghosts have experienced over the centuries. In an unbroken cycle since the 13th century, the majestic Chillingham has proudly stood the test of time. We're travelling to our final property destination, which is in the hamlet of Guyzants in the heart of Northumberland proper, and also our closest location to the coast. Our ladies should be encouraged to know that the Mystery House is just 5 miles from Warkworth, a place they both know and love. Just a mile from the beaches and surrounded by the River Coquet, Warkworth is an ancient village whose steep roads are lined with attractive traditional buildings, housing an assortment of artisan shops, pubs, cafes and hotels. A 10-minute drive away from the action, in the quiet of Guyzants, is a 35-acre woodland, where within a private development of 12 holiday cottages, we find the last in our selection.
Right then, Mystery House time, or Mystery Houses, because within this complex of holiday cottages, a good number of them are being sold off into private home ownership, as it were, as more domestic homes. So we have a choice of properties to show you. And we have 2 in particular that we'd like you to look at, which would mean, of course, Linda, that you and Chris could continue to be neighbours. How do we feel about this notion, this idea? There is a deathly silence.
Well, initially, I don't like it. It looks like a holiday cottage.
Exactly what it is. However, as I say, many of them are now being sold off to become individual homes. I have the keys here to this one, which I'd like you to look at in particular. But I think Chris will show you one down here.
OK.
Although it appears that Chris has made up her mind already, I've still got my fingers crossed that she might like the exterior of the cottage we've chosen for her.
What do you think?
Sort of looks like a glorified caravan site.
Given the robust but enchanting stone architecture and the history that goes with it, to be fair, I definitely wouldn't describe this development as a caravan park.
Come on, let's see what you think.
What we have to show Chris is an end-of-terrace old farmer's cottage with a neat garden that wraps around the back. Recently renovated to a high-spec, contemporary finish, on the ground floor there's a kitchen, a WC and the sitting room, which is our first port of call.
It's a bit small and a bit modern looking, I think. Not much character inside.
Sadly, they haven't been persuaded. Perhaps the kitchen might fare better.
It still feels modern and a bit plain.
Oh dear. Chris?
I agree. It's just not working for me.
Still no takers from either of our ladies, so this will be a whistle-stop tour. Upstairs, a family bathroom serves 2 bedrooms, one a double with exposed beams, the other slightly smaller. On paper, the mystery property seemed like an obvious plan to present. 2 great friends, 2 great neighbours, and here's the chance to continue living close by to one another. But it's not to be. So next, we need to talk about the price, which is normally the moment I look forward to. But on this occasion, I'm dreading it.
It does open up right around here.
Yeah, it's a fair-sized garden, isn't it?
I could certainly see this, bursting with life with some clever planting and what have you. I mean, yeah, you've got the neighbours around, but it is what it is. It's an old farm complex. But again, this lovely architecture coming through.
Yeah, it's a nice outside space.
Hurrah. We got a good thing. We got one thing right with this one for you. Humour me and make us an offer on our mystery house.
I think, given the proximity to the sea, I'll say 150.
150, Linda?
I was thinking the same, actually. I thought about 150,000.
So let's say you both agree on 150. This is on at £175,000 because of its proximity to the sea and all the things that you've identified, Chris, really.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I don't think you need to have another look inside this one. However, I would appreciate it if you would go and have a look at the first property we saw, Linda, which I think might be of interest to you. I'm still hoping. You know where it is. It's around the corner, and I will come and find you later on. Be interesting to see what you think. Off you go. Well, there you have it. Sometimes it goes really well, and sometimes it goes really badly. And sometimes it feels like a real disaster.
Comfortably under budget, the 2-bedroom mystery home for Chris is a stone cottage in a small private complex of both residential and commercial properties. Set within a 35-acre site and close to the coast, the development has another lot for sale, so could enable the 2 friends to stay as neighbours.
Has it sold itself?
No, it's too small. It just feels the same as the other one.
However, ordinarily I might be crestfallen and desperately disappointed. But I think we've shown you some really good properties this week, Chris. And maybe 1 or 2 of them may provide an option for the future.
Maybe.
Maybe. Right then, come on. Let's go and think about it.
Well, when I last saw Linda and Chris, I certainly got the sense that perhaps not all of our efforts this week had been in vain. There certainly seemed to be a little twinkle in Chris's eye. But have we managed to find her a home for the future? Well, let's go and ask her. Well, how are we doing then?
Great, thank you.
Are you feeling refreshed?
Yes.
Relaxed?
Yes.
Relieved?
Yes.
I thought you might be. Hopefully it wasn't that bad, Chris. Where are we?
I like the property with the balcony
Yep.
and the upside-down house.
Right then. 2 properties to choose from. Our property with the balcony near Kelso. What did you think of that then?
It was beautiful. I felt that somebody like me had lived in it.
You said that when we got there.
I know. And then I found out that it was an artist's house. It was just beautiful.
But then we took you to what we're now calling the upside-down house, Chris. And clearly that works for you as well.
It was so modern, and it would be a lovely house for people to come and stay as well. The price of the upside-down house is appealing, But I'm trying not to let that sway me absolutely. So I'd have to come up and see them both again. Probably bring my son and his wife with me.
I mean, we know you wanted to be nearer to your son. He, of course, lives in Edinburgh. So actually, it might work out quite well.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to be Scottish as well. So I would be, almost.
But from both of those properties, you can look out and see England. I mean, you couldn't be closer to the border.
No.
So, Linda, you also have said throughout that you were also considering following your neighbour and moving up here. Would you do it?
I would actually, but I think I would have something nearer to the coast. But I'd still be near enough to Chris to see her regularly.
So you won't be near neighbours. You may indeed end up on either side of the border, but clearly remaining the greatest of friends. That is, I think, very obvious for anyone watching this. So I wish you all the best, Chris, in making what could be quite a difficult decision, but one which I hope will give you everything you've been looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Northumberland and its border with Scotland has been hotly contested for centuries, but it would seem we've left Chris with a contest all of her own to try and choose between two, I think, pretty exceptional properties. But unlike so many of the fierce battles that have been fought up here over the years, I do hope hers has a happy ending. I'll see you next time. A week after our visit, Chris tried to make plans for a second viewing at the Upside Down house, but alas, someone else had already snapped it up. So her search continues. If you'd like to escape to the country in England, Northern Ireland, Scotland or Wales and would like our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/Be On A Show.